Hello and welcome to Euro Football Daily, where today we're listing 10 great players who turned into horrendous managers. 10. Hristo Stoichkov. A European Cup and 5-time La Liga winner with Barcelona, Hristo Stoichkov was a powerful and intelligent forward, nicknamed the Gunslinger and the Dagger for his deadliness. He won the 1994 Ballon d'Or and led Bulgaria to the semi-finals of the World Cup, finishing as the tournament's top scorer. Stoichkov returned to the team as manager in 2004, proclaiming, "I don't believe in tactics," and immediately alienated half the squad, with captain Stilian Petrov refusing to play under him. Stoichkov did no research or tactical work, got sent off against Sweden for insulting a referee, and introduced a 2-4-4 formation which saw Bulgaria almost lose to Malta. Unable to kickstart his coaching career with Celta Vigo or CSKA Sofia, he has been out of work since 2013. 9. Ossie Ardiles. Tottenham legend Ossie Ardiles made more than 200 appearances for the club, also winning the World Cup with Argentina way back in 1978. Nicknamed the Python for his snake-hip dribbling skills, Ardiles brought that same flair to management, focusing on attack to an almost ridiculous degree. After inconsistent spells at Newcastle and West Brom, Ardiles returned to White Hart Lane and went on to earn an incredible 1.15 points per game, the worst record of any Spurs manager in the modern era. Ardiles introduced a system of 5 forwards and 1 poor bastard covering the whole of midfield, and the Lily Whites conceded 33 goals in 15 games. He was fired and went on to coach in Japan, where he went 9 games without a win with Tokyo Verdy, and Israel, where he got sacked for arguing with the board. Somehow, Spurs forgave him though, and added him to their Hall of Fame in 2008. 8. Graham Souness. A classy midfielder with 8 titles and 3 European Cups on his CV, the transition to coaching was far from smooth for Liverpool legend Graham Souness. While player-manager of Rangers, he got around several touchline bans by naming himself as a substitute, and later admitted that he had been obnoxious and difficult to work with. Returning to Liverpool, Souness waged war on his dressing room, with Ian Rush saying teacups were being thrown, while a spell at Benfica saw the Scot refuse to sign up a young Deco, who went on to win 2 Champions Leagues and come in second for the Ballon d'Or. At Southampton, Souness signed Ali Dia after the striker rang the club claiming he was George Weah's cousin. And he capped off a truly shit CV by spending £50 million at Newcastle on such stars as Jean-Alain Boumsong and Albert Luque, only to lead the side into a relegation battle and get sacked by February. 7. Rudi Völler. Champions League winner with Marseille, World Cup winner with Germany, and unmitigated disaster as a coach, Rudi Völler has had an eventful life in football. As Germany boss, he presided over Die Mannschafts' 5-1 loss to England, but the following year bumbled his way to a World Cup final, where the Germans were comfortably outclassed by Brazil. A first-round exit at Euro 2004 put paid to Völler's international ambitions, and he took over Roma. The appointment lasted just 1 month, with Völler clocking up a win percentage of just 16%, and he returned to former club Bayer Leverkusen a year later as caretaker manager. Again, a month was enough, and Völler this time managed to win 40% of his games. Bayer quickly found a replacement, and Rudi was given a promotion to sporting director, though we reckon they'd have made him president just to get him off the bench. 6. Alan Ball. Part of England's 1966 World Cup triumph, Alan Ball made nearly 1,000 appearances as a player, featuring for the likes of Arsenal, Southampton and Everton, where he won a league title. Unfortunately, his ability on the pitch never translated into the dugout, as his win percentage across 19 years of management was a measly 32%, and 5 of his sides got relegated, with Southampton the only one to avoid the drop. The most memorable moment of Ball's career was when he was in charge of Man City, where he thought that a draw was good enough to keep the side up on the final day of the season. He was wrong, and the subbed-off Niall Quinn realised this, urging teammate Steve Lomas to try and win the game. Unfortunately, it was too late, and Man City were relegated at the end of the season. What a complete fuck-up. 5. Alan Shearer. The all-time Premier League record goal scorer and perennially boring match of the day pundit Alan Shearer was only a manager for 8 games, but that stint was so awful that he had to have a place on our list. Newcastle were in a relegation battle in 08-09, and the Toon were desperate for someone to inspire the squad to beat the drop. And who better than local hero Alan Shearer? Well, apparently many others, including Chris Hughton, who actually took a back seat during Shearer's short tenure. In those last 8 games though, Shearer managed to win 1 game, drawing 2 and losing the other 5. Their last game was a 1-0 loss to Aston Villa through a Damien Duff own goal, ending Newcastle's 16-year stint in the Premier League and effectively Shearer's managerial career. 4. Tony Adams. Another very short managerial career, Mr. Arsenal had 2 shots at management in English football, and both led to horrid results. The 4-time title winner's first job was at Wycombe in November 2003, where he was unable to stop them from being relegated. But the next season started off well for Adams. His side were top of League 2 in September, but dramatically slipped down the table. Adams had to resign by November, and the club finished 10th that season. This didn't discourage Tony though, as he became Harry Redknapp's assistant manager at Portsmouth in 2006, and was part of the staff that won the FA Cup. Redknapp left for Spurs though, and Adams was appointed as caretaker manager before being given the job on a permanent basis, and it all went wrong for Pompey. Adams only lasted 16 games before he got given the boot, picking up a paltry 10 points on the way, and the side finished 14th. 3. Paul Gascoigne. Gazza's life after retiring from football has been a tragic tale which no one likes to see, and a small part of it has been the Englishman's attempt at becoming a manager. Gascoigne became manager of conference side Kettering Town in 2005 and had big ambitions for the club. His long-term plan was to invest some of his own money to help the side reach the Football League, and Gaza mania was in full flow as the side managed to get some decent sponsorship deals due to the high profile their manager had. It didn't last though, and after 39 days Gascoigne was dismissed by the board, with the owner claiming that Gaza was drunk on the job, while Gascoigne said the owner tried to interfere constantly, despite knowing nothing about football. We're not quite sure who to believe. 2. Edgar Davids. Possibly one of the most recognisable players in modern football, Edgar Davids had a remarkable playing career, making 74 appearances for Holland whilst winning 6 league titles and a Champions League along the way. In his last 2 years as a pro, Davids wasn't just featuring on the pitch, but he was also managing Barnet, as he became the full-time coach of the side by the end of 2012. Despite getting Barnet out of the relegation zone initially, Davids had dropped them back into it by the end of the season, and they dropped down into the conference. Davids' next season started off bizarrely though, as he gave himself the number 1 shirt. He wanted to start a trend, but he started a worse one when he got booked in his first 8 games, seeing red in 3 of them. The midfielder ended up resigning from Barnet in January 2014, and hasn't managed a side since. 1. Diego Maradona. At number 1, it had to be Diego Maradona. An all-time great on the field, El Diego floundered in the dugout, assuming that the mere presence of one of the game's giants would be enough to inspire Argentina to global dominance. Despite a pair of failures at club level, he became national coach in 2008, and Argentina scraped through qualification for the 2010 World Cup after a shock 6-1 battering at the hands of Bolivia. That remains their joint worst result ever, and Maradona failed to charm any kind treatment out of the press, telling journalists, "Suck it and keep sucking it," after qualification was assured. Despite a squad containing Messi, Di Maria, Mascherano and Higuain, Argentina exited the World Cup in the quarters with a 4-0 loss to Germany. Maradona was sacked shortly after and shipped out to Dubai, where he took charge of Al Wasl. But after 10 losses in 22 games, he was on his way again, but this time to the retirement home. Adios, Diego. So those were our top 10 great players who made terrible managers, but who did we miss out and who would you have included? Let us know in the comments below. Now if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out our top 10 future super clubs, and as ever guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.